this song is my inspiration for this quick live. So, small little intro. I don't own rights to this music. It's Big Sean. I wish I did. Part of the song because it's my inspiration for getting on live right now.
Don't get it confused.
Don't get it confused. I'm in tune. I'm in tune. I'm in tune.
I'm in tune. I'm in tune. I'm in tune. Don't get it confused. Don't get it confused. We are not the same. Boy, I
smile through the pain. Alright.
I'm in tune.
So I'm on my way to do a massage. I hope you're doing well. I'm driving, I'm on my way to my appointment, and this song just gets me hyped every time. Okay, like I love Big Sean. Really like motivational, inspirational, like I'm in tune, right? So yesterday in my stories, I was talking about how we don't need to be afraid to read pot, and we need to be ready and willing to change our shell, change our pot, change our perception, change our old ways of being that will not be serving us in the upcoming year, right? So this song just really made me happy because, you know, he talks about being in tune with himself and how he is his biggest competition, he's his only competition, and that nothing can steer him away from what he is going to attain because it's his. Like, come on now, like tell me that's not some of the best self-discovery shit ever, right? So basically I just say all this to say that your self-discovery journey is going to be ever evolving. Every year you're going to have a different focus, a different perception, different experiences to build off of, the whole nine, right? Like the things that I'm going to be going through and growing through in 2019 are not the same things that I dealt with this year or last year. The name of the song is In Tune by Big Sean. It's on his CD, Big Sean and Metro Boomin. They did a CD together. It came out earlier this year. In Tune, INTUNE. So that whole album is fucking dope. I really like Big Sean because again, he's really motivational, inspirational, and he talks about positivity. Like literally, he even has this line in this last song I was just listening to, talking about mixing lavender with that eucalyptus with his incense and all kinds of shit. He's so fucking dope and like, you know, spiritual, and raps about it. So anyway, all that just to say that, you know, we need to get ready and we need to be able and willing to grow. And when you hold on to old things that are not going to be serving you in the upcoming months, you really hold back your progress and you become stagnant, and nobody wants that. Nobody needs that, right? Every experience that you've had has taught you something, or it's led you up to the point that you are at now, right? So with that, you have to build upon these lessons. It's just like, you know, you can't go off until the next grade until your ass passes and until you prove that you have in fact learned the things from the previous semester, year, whatever. Now, a lot of times we've learned these lessons, we're just scared of changing. We're scared of growth. We're scared of having to do those things that we know we really need to do, like cut people off, or like, you know, just stop working in a specific type of environment because it's unhealthy for you. Learning how to speak up and use your voice more. whether it's creating boundaries with people, whatever it is that you know that you need to do. Now is the perfect time to begin your game plan and to really begin to put these things into action, to create a plan. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to be able to implement these things, though if you are devoted to your self-discovery journey, you will implement them. And this, we won't even have to have a discussion. But I'm just going to say, for the sake of saying it, because there are a lot of people that are new to this whole spiritual journey and spiritual path. Rewind back to what I was saying. So, when you create a plan, a game plan, I like to call it a roadmap. I create self-discovery roadmaps when I do self-discovery coaching. That's what I do with clients. So I personally like to consider it a roadmap, but really what it is, it's just a plan. It's just a way for you to create, or for you to create the plan to which you would like to navigate. So everybody has different aspects and journeys. We'll go back to, we'll say that maybe you're somebody that needs to learn how to implement boundaries in your life, right? So some things that you would do to begin to implement that is you would take this, and I'm firm on journaling because it's beautiful, and it's extremely therapeutic and educational to be able to write your thoughts, feelings, and to go back and to look at them later and self-reflect on the things that you've written. A lot of times you won't even recognize the words that came from you. So anyway, you have boundaries that you want to implement, going back to the example. Now, let's say that maybe the biggest issue or the biggest boundary or the main relationship that you need to establish a boundary, let's say it's with a parent, right? So let's say, okay, I really need to learn how to establish boundaries with my mother. Like, I'm getting older and I just really am not fond of the constant, the condescending comments or her lack of respect for my parenting style. Like, I hate when I give my kids over to, for her to watch, she gives them back and they've completely undone everything that she knows that I've implemented in their upbringing. Shit like that. That's just an example. Hey, auntie, it's been a minute. So, let's say that is something that you need to create. A boundary. Let's say boundaries is something that you need to learn, that you want to begin to implement for this upcoming year. Now, how are you going to do it? How are you going to go about it? Well, this goes back to, you're going to analyze what is the biggest aspect, what is the biggest pain point, what is it that bothers you the most, what is it that's causing you to say, you know what, enough is enough, I need to do this, I'm not playing this game anymore, I need to do this. What is it? And then from there, you need to plan what it is that you're going to do about it, right? So let's go back to the example of your mother, establishing boundaries with your mother. So the first step would be to write out, okay, so this guy cut me off, you're a jerk. So something that you could do is you could literally write down, like, okay, so these are boundaries that I feel are that are weak within our relationship that I need to strengthen. So you could say, one, the blatantly, I'm sorry guys, I don't have much filter. We'll say like the disrespect of not honoring your requests when it comes to your children, when it comes to her watching your children. Let's say like you don't like the kids eating something and she gives it to them anyway. So you could write that down. And then you would write down, okay, so what am I going to do about that? How am I going to implement this change? How am I going to establish this boundary in a healthy way? Healthy way, right? That's the biggest aspect, is that you do it in a healthy manner that respects all parties, yourself and other people, right? All parties involved. So with that, you'd write down, okay, so the food that she gives them or whatever. So the way that I'm going to establish this boundary is by you plan some action steps. So you would say, one, I'm going to verbally express how it makes me feel when she goes against the things that I say. and how I feel that it affects the kids and the way that the kids respect me. Like, literally, be real with yourself and be real with what it is that's bothering you. Get down to the detail. Write it down, okay? When you write it down, you can see it. Not only you've literally expressed it in 3 different manners. You've thought about it, you've written it down, and you've read it, right? This completely, I promise you, it will change everything. Also, side note, I'm probably going to have a workshop on this coming soon. Anyway, I'm going to make it quick because it's starting to get dark, as you guys can tell. So basically, when it comes to creating a roadmap, you need to see what it is that's bothering you. How are you going to implement it? And then what are you going to do after that? Excuse me. What are you going to do? What's your backup plan? What's your exit strategy? So let's say, hi my friend, welcome. Let's say that after expressing to your mother that you didn't like, you know, that she gave the kids whatever, and she blatantly gave the kids whatever anyway, and like you just feel like, you know, completely violated in that regard, and you've already expressed yourself, you've already gone through your the things that you've written down in your journal. Well, what are you going to do after that? What are you going to implement to further establish your boundary? Because you don't give up on your boundary. That boundary is yours and it needs to be honored and respected, okay? As long as it's a healthy boundary, which in my example, this is healthy. So, and this is something, I don't have kids, but I know that this is something that people do deal with when it comes to the grandmother and the mother and the dynamic of that kind of stuff. So, sidebar, I'm sorry anyway. So let's say that, you know, she's done it for the final time, or she's done it again, even after you've clearly expressed that it's a boundary that you are wanting to implement in your lives. What are you willing to do? What are you willing to do? I'm not a therapist, I'm a self-discovery coach. I just help women of color to discover happier, healthier, and calmer versions of themselves through spirituality and yoga. Really, I am the ultimate I am very firm in, I can't think, in personal development and self-improvement. It's literally what I thrive on as a hobby. So anyway, when it comes to this final boundary where she's explicitly gone against what it is that you said, you have to be willing again to create another boundary within that. So, you know, like, okay, so this happens one last time, this is what I'm willing to do. So maybe if she gives the kids the candy or whatever the heck, after you've explicitly expressed yourself and you know that this was no mistake and this is just blatantly disregarding your boundary. Let's say you're like, okay, fine, I'm not going to bring the kids to you as frequently because you can't honor the boundary that I am creating. I'm not saying cut your mom out of your life, but you need to create a healthy boundary, and you need to uphold those boundaries, okay? Because it's very important for you in the long haul, in the long run, for your mental and emotional well-being. Being constantly disrespected affects you deeply on a mental level, on a psyche level. It doesn't matter who's doing it, right? So, yeah. So, I mean, and my disclaimer for that, I mean, I know that it's like a joke and like, well, maybe like a passive aggressive joke. It's not necessarily that I only work with women of color, but the main focus for my work is to create a safe space and a safe haven for women of color to be able to express themselves along the self-discovery journey. Now, I don't want to say it's like my space, but it's my baby and I've put so much of my heart into it. So the space does not exclude anyone However, it has been created with women of color as the forefront. So don't take it in a negative way when I say it like that I help women of color. It's just that I make a huge point to express that the space is implemented and it was created with women of color in mind. So yeah, I think that I got that little thing across, I hope. So yeah. So I think that, just to recap, it's really important that we begin to consider the things that we need to change and implement for next year. What lessons have we learned this year, and how are we going to build upon them for next year? Right? That's the whole point. That's the whole purpose of of creating your own roadmap, or of your roadmap, your plan, whatever it is that you'd like to call it. I just choose the word roadmap because I consider it to be a journey, right? So establish what it is that you'd like to change. Establish what it is that you would like to do or to implement. And take the time to acknowledge how you want to feel this time next year. Begin your manifestation process now. Really stop and say, okay, so I'll use myself for example. At the end of this year, because most of my focus for my own personal journey is more along my personal issues and personal issues, like my finances, my business, maybe my dating, so those types of things, right? So I know that I have been working on the Haven and Poetic Touch for it's been a year now. Yeah. And by next year, I would like to take my online business to online 100% of the time. As I mentioned, I'm on my way to go and do a massage right now. I love massage therapy. It's my craft. I'm a natural, and it's something that I've been doing for almost 10 years now. With all of that said, it does take a little bit out on your body, and because I have been doing it for quite a bit of time, I do need to consider my backup plan, my exit strategy, how I'm going to be able to provide massage therapy for the rest of my life without having to do it every day for the rest of my life. So I would envision how fucking ecstatic I'm going to be when I look at my funding, or when I look at my bank statement for next year. This is how I'm going to envision. This is how I'm going to manifest, right? So take the time to do that. I think that it's really, really important to envision how it is that you want to take on next year. Envision how it is you're going to feel once you've accomplished those things for next year, and get down to the list and start acting on it. All right? So it's getting pretty dark, but I hope that I gave a little something, even if it's just a little baby gem. Okay? I absolutely love you guys. As always, it's my absolute honor to serve you. If you are interested in booking a self-discovery coaching call with me, and you want to see about creating a roadmap together with my help, go ahead and in my profile you can click the link in my bio, and there's an option there for you to schedule an appointment, and we can chat face to face. So anyway, you all have a great night. As always, I fucking love you, and I'm so happy. I am so ecstatic for how far we've come and for how far we're going. I love you guys.